This week in Boomtown, the elections are over and issue 47 passed. Central Ohioans voted in favor of a sales tax levy that COTA says will improve transportation as our region booms. From the roads you drive to the sidewalks you stroll and the trails you ride, this week in Boomtown, we are digging deep into what LinkUS will change in the future of transit for Central Ohio. This week in Boomtown is focusing solely on transportation for our region. I'm Angela Ann, and we're glad to have you with us today. Now, we start with a huge win for COTA, the Central Ohio Transit Authority. We want to say welcome to Monica Tejas-Fowler. Welcome. You're the president and CEO of COTA, and boy, what an election week for COTA and for everyone there.
Yes, thank you.
Let's first talk about the LinkUS levy. It passed by about 57%, so voters certainly gave a green light. You have said that this will transform transportation for our region. Can you explain more?
Yeah, well, first I want to start by thanking Central Ohio for really helping us move forward. It takes this historic step forward to really implementing a shared vision for an inclusive, connected, and accessible Central Ohio. We're excited and ready to get to work with our communities and partners across the region to make LinkUS a reality.
So what does that mean, though? Like, if I'm a bus rider or if I'm not a bus rider, what does that connectivity look like?
Yeah, what it looks like is, ultimately we're looking at 45% more COTA service, and it'll come in the form of 14 new or improved lines, 8 new on-demand zones, which is our COTA Plus, additional service and frequency, as well as more paratransit services in our region. We also will be adding at least 5 bus rapid transit or rapid transit lines, 3 of which were identified as bus rapid transit. And the biggest piece is that every community within our service area is going to see something, because we are also going to be adding 500 new miles of sidewalks, trails, and bikeways to this region.
And that's what that connectivity really looks like, where you can say, well, you can bike to maybe that bus stop that would take you on that rapid line to wherever you need to go.
That's right. Connection is very important. So whether that's connecting communities, allowing people to access COTA or trails more easily and safer, that's really what that connectivity is about.
And we often hear transportation is possibly one of the biggest pain points for leaders as they plan for this growth. How soon will people see these lines, since LinkUS was projecting out 25 years? Yeah,
LinkUS is projected out 25 years. And so when we mention all of the different components of LinkUS, that is a 25-year plan. But what you can expect to see within the first 5 years, for instance, is 3 of those rapid transit lines, bus rapid transit line, will be up and operational. We're talking about West Broad, East Main, and the Northwest Corridor, the first phase of that, as well as 150 miles of those new sidewalks, trails, and bike paths will be either fully completed or under construction by the first 5 years. We'll also have already increased our frequency and extended service hours so that we're really capturing our second and third shift workers within our region. But in the first year, what you can expect, even in 2025, you can expect to start to see that service, the service hours extended. So we're capturing that late night service, as well as increased frequency to many lines that we know need it.
So that's the voters right there, the sales tax dollars at work, so to speak.
Yes.
Let's talk, you talked about those 3 first lines. One of them is East Main, and I know it goes right through Bexley. What is COTA doing to work with cities that say, but we can't make a straight shot, we just don't have the infrastructure or the width to expand for that bus rapid line? So what's the alternative?
Yeah, so I'm not an engineer, and I'm not going to assume.
You can't make the bus fly over other cars?
Right, but I think that there are good communications going on about how we are innovative in really implementing the service that it's intended to be, which is really rapid, right? We're looking for that frequency, but we're also looking to be able to move people across the region at a very competitive pace. When we look at personal occupancy vehicles, COTA needs to be providing service that matches that or exceeds it.
Some of the critics say this sales tax increase will really affect some of the lower income families who just can't afford another hit. What message do you want to tell them today now that this issue has passed?
Yeah, Completely understand. The sales tax would actually get us to a 1%. So it's really taken us from a 0.5% to a 1% local sales tax share for COTA. That really puts us on par with our neighbors in Cuyahoga or Hamilton County, so Cleveland, Cincinnati. So that's kind of important. It's also an investment in ourselves, because we know that as we make these types of investments in ourselves, it really allows the entire region to continue to prosper and grow together, versus really kind of separating those and forcing people to have to use money on vehicles, that kind of stuff. But additionally, you know, sales tax, the big thing I would say is remind people that it's not on groceries, it's not on medical prescriptions, those types of things. And I know that when we talk about the people who are hardest hit, those are some of the elements of that discussion.
And we should say it's the sales tax, so it's not a hit on homeowners either. It's really for anyone who comes into Franklin County that realizes, well, now there's an 8% overall sales tax, with that 1% now going to COTA. Some of the voters that live in the sliver parts of outlying counties, Delaware, Licking, Fairfield, Union, they also had a chance to vote on this. What will that sales tax then look like for them if it's 8% now for Franklin County, but their counties are still at a lower rate?
Yeah, they will. The areas that our service area goes into will also see that increase of the 0.5%. Again, that is only 1% to COTA. The rest of the sales tax I can't account for the different pieces.
If this region is growing, Monica, and we expect projecting 1 million more people here in the years to come, can we ask, why didn't COTA then maybe go to some of those areas that you don't service yet to say, hey, listen, we know we're growing, people will be moving into your areas, we want to help bring you into this mix as well? Could COTA have gone to them and asked them for a advance, if you will, on this infrastructure money?
So right now, COTA is really limited in our legislation on what funding is available to us, and our sales tax is really written into state legislation. So that was the tool we had, the resource we had to pull, and so that's why we went out for the sales tax.
I'm sure you looked at other boomtown cities at what they're doing, right? You talked about Cuyahoga. They've got a rapid bus transit system up there. We also traveled to Austin, Texas, another huge boomtown that Columbus gets compared to quite often. They also have a bus rapid transit system. So all things are green light, go. They did talk about, though, that they're building light rail now, and they wish that they had done that 10 years ago, because now it's 10 times more and it takes longer to build. But because they grew so fast, they're still playing catch up. Are we there?
We're not there. That's the good news for us, is that we have decided to take this historic step forward. It allows us really to start putting that infrastructure in place now, so that when we do start to see that growth, we're already in a good place and can manage and maintain that. We may continue to add more lines, more corridors, right? We have at least 5 corridors in our plan, but if sales tax performs and the need is there, we will continue to add rapid transit corridors as needed.
Do you see light rail at all in the future here for Central Ohio?
I never say no to light rail. I think that if it is called for, we will add it. I think right now we know what our levers are, and for us, one of the big pieces is bringing back federal dollars, right? So that's really something that is going to be our goal, to build out a lot of this infrastructure. We need to have a certain density to be competitive for those federal dollars. We don't have that just yet, but there are policy changes that are happening within every community that I think will allow us to build the density that we need, so that in the future we may see light rail here in Central Ohio.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, final 2 questions for you, Monica, and we do appreciate your time. Again, you talked about how soon people will see some of these new lines coming into play, at least some of the new routes and the new services, especially for the late night workers. How soon will this new sales tax go into effect? And also, when will we really see like the bus improvements? Will they be public hearings about it that people can come and attend?
Yes. So we don't actually start collecting the new sales tax until January 2025. And then there's a lag in terms of collection and disbursement to our agency. But what you can begin to see is that frequency in those service hours extended, that late night service that we've been really pushing to get to. We're at 11:30 now. We still want to get well past midnight. That's one of our goals. And so you can start to see that in 2025. So yeah, service changes happen January, May, and September, and you will see that very common engagement, community engagement through our open houses, through conversations with our communities about what service, what improvements we're making already in 2025.
And I do have one more question, so I apologize because I said those were the final ones. But for some people who say, well, I don't ride the bus, so I don't need this, I shouldn't vote for it. But do you feel like there's a misconception about the fact that, well, the people who do ride the bus could still affect so many other people's lives in some kind of way?
That's right. That's the big piece about this is that, for me, it's the benefits that it brings, but those benefits help all of us, because as we continue to add more people, more residents to our communities, as we continue to grow, congestion will become a problem. Why Austin has the conversations about we wish we had done this years back is because the growth got ahead of them. We're in a good place now where if we put this infrastructure in place, we'll be able to manage congestion in a way that people who decide to stay in their vehicles will not be as impacted by the congestion because of growth.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, Monica Tejas-Fowler, thank you so much for your time talking about this. We look forward to seeing how LinkUS really connects everyone. As a person who loves bike trails, I'm excited just to see what that will look like in the years to come. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And as Monica mentioned, money generated by LinkUS will also help create additional COTA Plus zones. Those are basically rideshare service to get you from point A to point B, much like Uber or Lyft, but cheaper. It's $3 a ride, $6 for a day pass, or $20 for a week. Students, children, and seniors ride free. COTA Plus zones are currently located in Grove City, Westerville, and the South Side. Now, we spoke with William Murdoch, the executive director of MORPC, the region's planning commission, and he says 8 new zones will be created using money generated by LinkUS.
It solves that last mile gap between your house and the transit line, or the place you need to go that's just in your neighborhood or you're in your community. And LinkUS allows for a number of additional zones over the next few years.
There's also a COTA Plus Fisher Road app, and that is for people to travel to and from the Franklin County Corrections Center. Now, if walking or biking are more your speed, COTA says roughly 25% of that money from LinkUS will help add 500 miles of sidewalks and trails. Expect to see a good portion of that plan in the next 5 years and 80 new transportation projects over the next 10. Those projects will touch cities all across the metro area, including Gahanna, Hilliard, Grove City, New Albany. And they include $10 million to help expand the Heritage Trail from Old Hilliard to downtown Columbus. There's also $3 million earmarked for the Linden Green Line. Murdoch also telling us that sidewalks will give people more mobility in their daily lives, while the trails could stimulate economic growth.
We're working with small towns and villages on this thing called Trail Towns, which if you think about when you ride your bike and you arrive in a small town, is that town ready for you? Do they have ice cream? Do they have bathrooms? Are they thinking about economic development?
And these are all questions COTA promises to answer. And this week, the transit agency is thanking Central Ohio for passing the LinkUS levy that it promises will bring a brighter tomorrow for everyone. So to recap, as this region prepares to welcome more than 1 million people over the next decade, voters in Franklin County this week approved that sales tax increase, which will help bring major changes to our transit system as we know it. That means an additional 0.5% sales tax increase for anyone in Franklin County. And as that money starts to come in over the next 25 years, LinkUS is projected to bring $8 billion to COTA to put this plan in motion. So this week in Boomtown, we are seeing how the growth moving into Licking County is getting some breathing room. A massive milestone as new lanes on State Route 161 opened for the first time. Now this is between I-270 and US 62 right near New Albany. It's now 6 lanes instead of 4. ODOT says traffic on that 6-mile stretch has gone up 21% over the past 10 years. So we're talking around 17,000 vehicles a day. 10 TV's Tara Jabor tells us how this new lane will really help Central Ohio prepare for the boom to come.
If you travel down State Route 161 in Franklin County during rush hour, you've probably sat in traffic before. Now, ODOT just completed a project where they added a lane on the northbound and southbound side. State Route 161 is now 6 lanes from I-270 to US 62. ODOT says the project will alleviate traffic in the congested area.
It's just important for the safety of our motorists, safety for people who are commuting to work, safety for people who just live here, that we have the infrastructure.
The widening project will hopefully help stop crashes. ODOT data shows there have been 534 crashes in that portion of State Route 161. Now, with more room, that is expected to decrease. But the project isn't just about safety. It's also the result of growth in Central Ohio, with several major technology companies investing in our area, including Microsoft and Intel.
We're having significant growth in Central Ohio. We expect that growth to continue for decades ahead. And it's the fastest growing area in the state.
Governor DeWine says the state has to prepare for the growth because it has no plans of slowing down.
Ohio can only grow if the infrastructure keeps up with the growth, and frankly, we try to be ahead of that growth.
And the work isn't done on State Route 161. ODOT has plans to possibly widen more parts of the highway in the future.
This project is the first phase. We're also looking to widen 161 towards Newark. Those projects are in development as we speak. We're also building roundabouts at key intersections.
And the project isn't 100% complete yet. ODOT has plans to put the final coat of paving on both sides of the highway in spring of next year. Reporting in Franklin County, Tara Jabor, 10 TV News.
Tara, thank you so much. We hope you enjoyed our focus on transportation for this episode of This Week in Boomtown. And just remember, we also have our 10 TV Plus original Welcome to Boomtown, where you can see how our stories really seek solutions for everyone in all communities. Thanks for watching. I'm Angela Ann.